In this step, let's do a bit of cleanup. Right now, in 28 minutes is the user ID which is configured with Spring Security. However, what we see is we are hard coding in 28 minutes at multiple places. In 28 minutes is in here inside the modal, and also if you go to do controller, and also you see that in 28 minutes is hard coded at a few other places. In this step, let's see how to remove the hard coding for it. So let's get started with the welcome controller. Right now, we are hard coding the name in here. Instead of this, I would create a private method in here, private string get logged in user name. You'd want to get it from Spring Security. In Spring Security, there is a class called security context holder. Inside the security context holder, you have a get context method inside which you have get authentication. And this is actually giving you the currently authenticated principal. Whoever is the authenticated user, you can get it through this. Now I will do a control1 or command1 and assign it to a local variable. So we have the authentication details now. From the authentication details, you can get your user details. Authentication.get name. So this is your username. What I would do is I would return this back. And over here, instead of modal.put name comma in 28 minutes, which is hard coded in here, I would replace it with a call to get logged in username. Let's save this. And let's see if it's working fine. In 28 minutes, dummy, and sign in. Awesome. This looks good. The next thing I would do is to go over to the to-do controller, and over here, there is a hard coding of this, which we did earlier. Let's remove this hard coding as well. I want to get it from the modal. So I'll get the username from the modal and send the username out instead of in 28 minutes. So this is list all to-dos page to which to find by username, we are sending a username. If you look at this specific method, find by username, we are returning the entire list of to-dos in here. We are not filtering it by username. Let's also implement that quickly. I'll copy the predicate for delete by ID. So over here, what we want to do is we would want to use the username. We want to check if it's equals to username. So get username is equal to username. We would want to check the username. If the username matches, then we would want to return the to-dos. However, this is a string. Therefore, you cannot use equal to. I would need to use equals ignore case. So the predicate checks if the username matches. If the username matches, we would want to filter it and return it back. So to-dos dot stream dot filter using the predicate and convert it to a list. While the code might look a little complex, actually it's very, very simple. We are setting the matching condition in here. On a to-do, we are saying if the username matches, then it's matching. And over here, we are converting it into a stream. So if there are 10 to-dos, each of them are processed individually and checked. This condition is checked. If the username matches, then it would be returned back. If the username does not match, then it will not be returned back. At the end, whatever are filtered, we are converting it to a list and returning it back. You can save this and I'll go to the to-dos. Oops, nothing is coming in. We are able to get the username from Spring Security. We are setting it into the modal, and we also have a session attributes annotation on it. Therefore, this value will be stored in session. So the welcome controller will be storing this value into session, and the to-do controller is making use of it because we have session attributes name in here as well. However, there is a chance that a user directly goes to to-do controller. Let's say a user hits the list to-dos page directly. He logs in and directly goes to list to-dos. He does not go to welcome controller. Then the value will not be available in session because this code will not be executed at all. This is where we are putting the value into session. And that's why it is always recommended to directly get the value from Spring Security. So this is cool. Like the welcome controller looks good. The welcome page needs the logged in username. It's put into the modal and it's returned back. However, for to-do controller also, I would create a similar method. For the to-do controller, wherever we are getting the value from the modal, so we are doing this to get the value from the modal, I would want to refactor that. I'll do a right click, refactor, extract method. You would see that there are 3 other instances of this statement. Get logged in username and say OK. So the get logged in username method is created in here. Let's go to the end, paste it down. Instead of getting the logged in user from the modal, what we want to do is we would want to get it from Spring Security. So let's go ahead and do that. Authentication is equal to Spring Security context.get holder.get authentication and authentication.get name. This looks good. Let's save this. Let's search for modal and see if modal.get is used anywhere else. So I'll just search for modal.get. I don't find any matches in here. So this looks cool. I'm sure you're having a wonderful time, and I'll see you in the next step.